three very special bands today: Subrosa, Amesoeurs, and Alcest. Three popular bands, but they all mean a lot to me, and I'm just gonna get into it. So Subrosa were formed in Utah in 2005. The first album, Strega, I have to admit I'm not all that familiar with, but I did come on board upon the release of No Help for the Mighty Ones. I always loved their artwork, the symbolism all over it. It repeats itself, not repeats itself, but it has the same vibe, similar visuals over the next couple albums as well. This is original doom metal with long songs, lots of strings, way better and fresher than that sounds. They're a band that I think any real music fan, if they gave it a chance and they're open to some dark music, they could get into this for sure. Next album, More Constant Than the Gods. All three of these next albums are just, they're equal. They're all 9 out of 10. All three of their last albums. Again, just more of their imagery. The release following this was their fourth and final album. For this, We Fought the Battle of the Ages. I don't have that one on CD. It was just a time when I was buying the iTunes back in the day. But again, an equal album. It's a shame they broke up. They've moved on to other projects. Not too familiar with them, but I'll get acquainted with it one day. And just the way that band makes me feel, I relate them to the next couple bands. So let's talk about the French band Amesoeurs. This is their Ruines Humaines debut EP, 3 songs. This is post-punk meets black metal, if you were to make it simple, but as I always say, a lot better than that sounds. This came out on Northern Silence Productions. But the best was yet to come with their one and only full-length album, the self-titled album. This is one of my favorite vinyls. I bought this at a show the first time I saw Alcest. Since Nige is in both bands, he was probably selling it. And this album actually is a lot more urban and modern than the prior EP, but it looks like, it sounds like this cover. It's just black and gray. The dark side of civilization is the way I think they describe the concept of their band. My vinyl here is a gray and black. And I also have that on CD, one of those unique jewel cases that you don't see too often. So I mentioned that Nige was one of the members of Amesoeurs, and they broke up, I guess just disagreements on the future of the band right after that first release. And let's go to Nige's main band, Alcest. This is the debut album, Souvenir de Ultra Monde. I'm sorry, that was horrible. This is my vinyl copy. It's got a different cover than the CD. I like the CD cover better. We'll get to that in a second. This to me is their best album still, the first and best. There's my copy of the CD. I bought that as soon as it came out. The second song on here, the title track, I heard that online once before the album came out, and I knew that this was going to be a band I had to keep an eye on. And that song, to this day, if you see them live, that song gets the crowd into it. I'm not the only one that got turned on by that one. And the sixth song is really mellow, the final one. But that might be my favorite one. Just takes me back. And this is a masterpiece, 10 out of 10. I'd say an equally good album, but I prefer it a little less, is the second album, Éclair de Lune. What are my favorite songs on here? I'm going to go with the fifth one, Solar Song. Another mellow one, but amazing. I've seen Alcest twice when they were touring upon the release of the second album, which I bought along with the Amesoeurs vinyl. They played a really small club in Toronto. It had Monarch, the Quebec black metal band, and Fanta Faxith, I think, who are a Toronto black metal band. Both of these bands have gone on to be bigger than they were at that time. And yeah, Alcest played to maybe 70 people. That's my recollection. It's a great show. I had a lot of fun. And I saw them again just before Shelter came out. And that show, they were opening for Anathema, who I love, but at the time, for some reason, we had somewhere else to be, and we basically caught Alcest, and we bounced before Anathema hit the stage. Looking back, I can't believe I did that, but that's just what happened at the time. So, by the fourth album, they'd gone much more mellow, much more kind of shoegaze influence, and I thought all the albums have been good. The most recent one, Spiritual Instinct, I think. It might be the heaviest thing they've ever done, even though it's still a somewhat mellow Alcest album. And again, the first two are far and away the best, but I do hope that they can make another true classic and not just another great album. So that's it. Subrosa, Amesoeurs, and Alcest. Thank you.